I want like a bop or like a jingle.
Which one, a jingle or a bop?
Well,
because those are two different things.
Technically, it's the same thing, but I want it to be so good.
A jingle and a bop are not the same thing.
Theoretically, yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
A jingle and a bop are not the same thing.
Well, I want it to be a bop because I want people to be like, damn, that's like actually good. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Feast or Famine with the Youngs.
We are the Youngs. I'm going to have a different way of saying it every episode. So there'll be over 100 ways of me saying we are the Youngs.
I still feel like we need a new intro.
Well, we'll get there. We haven't done it yet.
I'm sleepy already.
I want a whole opening sequence, but we never actually ended up doing that.
Yeah, we should probably do that. I want like a bop or like a jingle.
Which one, a jingle or a bop?
Well,
because those are two different things.
Technically, it's the same thing, but I want it to be so good.
A jingle and a bop are not the same thing.
Theoretically, yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
A jingle and a bop are not the same thing.
Well, I want it to be a bop because I want people to be like, damn, that's like actually good.
Okay. A bop it is.
Okay. What are we talking about today? What's on the docket?
What's in your pocket?
What's on the docket?
Why do I gotta say it?
Because I have been talking so much.
This is one thing that will never change when we're doing batch recording. The last one, there's zero
I'm still wearing the same clothes and the same fuzzy socks, by the way.
It's only been an hour and a half, 2 hours. It hasn't actually been 3 weeks.
No.
The illusion is crushed.
The illusion is shattered.
It has been 3 weeks, and we are still sitting in this exact same spot. We haven't moved.
Yeah. So you remember when I was saying in our first episode back that we kind of talk about a little bit about everything? Well, last episode, if you guys haven't listened or watched, we shared our car accident story on our wedding day.
Wedding day nightmare. Bum, bum, bum. Sorry.
I don't know what that was.
That's the new bop.
But no, it's not. But today, we wanted to talk about something kind of spicy.
Not downer in the dumps.
Just very much of a Midwestern ick that we have, being Midwesterners ourselves. And we have another fun story to back it up.
2, actually.
Okay.
Right?
Maybe.
There's 2.
Are there? I don't remember.
One's not as dramatic, the other one.
Okay, well, you tell them.
I mean, they were both about me. Basically.
What does that say?
It says that our theory is accurate, is really what it says.
Basically, what we're talking about today is how fashion in St. Louis sucks ass.
It does. And it's kind of an all-encompassing thing that we already knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And
fashion in the Midwest in general.
Fashion and trends and all that stuff.
I have notes, by the way.
She has notes. In the Midwest, tend to really just suck.
Yeah.
And I think there's multiple reasons why, but
I have some facts on why. Would you like?
Not why. You have facts on just a generic.
Well, I have facts on why, in general, Midwestern fashion is a lack thereof.
Yeah, but I think it also partially the mindset too.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we'll get into that, but you want to hear some fackety facts?
Given the facts.
Okay.
Fact it up.
I don't know. I don't think I like the way that sounds. You're not putting...
Fact it up.
You're not putting the T on there
I
hard
did
enough.
it on purpose.
I don't like...
Fact it up. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Okay. In general, if we already knew this, in case you didn't know, trends hit St. Louis 12 to 18 months after they've hit LA, New York City, and Atlanta.
Which are they're coastal areas.
A year and a half, bro.
Atlanta's relatively coastal, but it's a hub.
Yeah.
But all the big trends, and I'm not just talking about fashion. We're talking about fashion, events, weddings. Mm-hmm. Mostly fashion, though.
Yeah.
All start on the coast, naturally.
Yeah.
And then we get it a year and a half later. Which I wouldn't even say we get it a year and a half later. We get the shell of what's left of it a year and a half later.
Literally. There's no flagship stores in the Midwest other than Chicago. But
Chicago's a hub, though.
Chicago is a hub, and St. Louis is ranked low on the National Fashion Influence list.
Chicago hosts its own fashion week.
Yeah, it's not a fashion capital like Chicago, New York, or LA. Mm-hmm. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there's a low density of fashion designers and major retailers in general based in St. Louis, which we live here. We already knew that. But I was going to say, we just recently
got a not even a flagship, because it's definitely not a flagship.
No.
It's a full-size Gucci store.
It is a full-size Gucci store, but it's not, though.
It's like half of the full-size Gucci store.
It's like not a full size, though, because there's not that many items in there. It used to be just like this corner of like
it was a closet.
Saks Fifth or whatever.
No, it was its own spot, but it was like it was essentially a closet.
Yeah, it was.
It was
very
about as
small.
big as like the lid stores are.
Yeah, it was very small, and then they expanded it, and now it's like a quote unquote full size Gucci. But I've been to a lot of Gucci's, and they do not have the same amount of items in there. Like, they just don't.
I think they only carry certain things that they know will sell here.
That's part of the problem.
Which, that pair of shoes, I was actually surprised they had.
Yeah,
because I
that's true.
really liked those.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen them online.
Mm-hmm. And I would actually say the same thing about the YSL. No, wait, the Louis Vuitton.
The Louis Vuitton.
Like, they have a full size, but
they've had that for a while.
I still don't feel like they have the same things there, because I go in to those stores and I'm like, there's nothing in here that I want to buy. And then I'm in like the Florida one or the Chicago one, and I'm like, this is way
different. The Chicago one is a flagship in the country. Mm-hmm. The Florida one that we go to has a men's and a women's.
Yeah.
Like the men's lines of stuff and the women's line of stuff. Mm-hmm. As separate stores.
Yeah.
Each one is about the size of the one in St. Louis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. And we, like, you wouldn't know
based on how we
are dressed right now, but we enjoy, nice things every now and then. We enjoy, like, nice clothes. We like to dress up. We like to look good. When you look good, you feel good, right? So,
and this has kind of become an epiphany in the last probably 5 years since we've been going to Florida every year, mm-hmm. because Florida, where we go, they have the trendy clothes and stuff like that. And people do dress like that, and you can actually buy it.
Part of like what we like about our annual Florida trip is like the energy, as far as like the culture and how you dress feels different down there than it does here. And so we look forward to being able to dress like, even though we're going out to lunch on a regular day, like we aren't insecure about like putting together like a trendy outfit just to go grab a cocktail. But as soon as we come back home and I'm like, I want to dress the same way that I just did last week when we were in Florida, I get insecure about it.
Because you feel like people are going to like, and that happens, and we have a story about that. People look at you and they're like,
why is she trying so hard?
Like that? Or why... I think it's more so, why is he dressed like that?
Yeah. I mean, for this one particular circumstance, yes. But in general, it's like I feel like the overarching like thought is like, you live in St. Louis, why are you trying so hard? Like, this mm-hmm. isn't a fashion show. Not everything's a fashion show. Whereas like in Chicago, Atlanta, New York, Florida, California, people just want to look good no matter what they're doing, no matter like what day it is, what time. Like, they just want to look good. They want to make an impression. They want to set the tone. And
because when you look good, you feel good.
Yeah. And the majority of those people share the same value. And so it's really fun to be able to go into a city like that and dress apart and feel good. And then when you come back here and you do the same thing and you get shat on, it really freaking sucks.
Yeah, I got shat on. It was Veronica's birthday last week.
Last week, yeah.
I mean, should I dress like that semi-often?
I mean, we're starting to, now we're just like...
leaning into it?
I mean, now, yeah, we're just like doing our thing because we're like, we don't care and we enjoy it.
The ironic thing is, on the way to dinner, I literally made a comment about it.
Yeah, that's like what kind of broke my heart about the situation. I was like, you were already like a little bit like hesitant.
Like, I always like, my brother-in-law, God bless him. He's a military guy. He grew up in California though, but he grew up in Bakersfield. Mm-hmm. But he's very much just like doesn't give a crap about any of it.
No.
My new sunglasses, immediately, he made a comment about them.
What did he say? I don't know if you told me.
It's always subtle. It's nothing, and he's just giving me crap.
Wait, did you tell me about this?
Yeah.
What did he say?
I don't remember what he said. It's Julian, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's just he's just poking fun.
Well, also he's your brother, so it's like it's whatever.
Yeah. He's fine.
Yeah.
I don't get offended by him saying it because he gets it, I get it, whatever. But on the way to dinner, what did I say? Because I dressed nice. Whatever. I wanted to feel good. And
you were wearing some like brown trousers, right?
Yeah. They're slightly like
a textured white, like nice white tee, and then a shirt over it. Mm-hmm. And then I personally, and you agree, like accessories like make your outfit. So like 100%. Shoes, sunglasses, jewelry, like let's amp it up. And so you had bracelets on, you had your chain on, you had your sunglasses on, which are like my favorite part 'cause they're such a vibe. And your shoes. Yeah. And they were like, were you wearing your Gucci tennis shoes? Yeah.
So we were walking through, and it's like a plaza. It is.
Yeah, it's Westport for your local people.
And so there's a lot of like restaurants and bars and stuff, and it's like a big green space, and it's a place to go and just hang out and have a good time.
And to be honest, because of what this spot is and what this area is, it's a younger, like generational spot. There's like lots of places to eat, grab cocktails, things like that. Like this is where like younger people our age and younger, even like 20 somethings would hang out. So you would think.
And it feels like a place that you should feel good dressing like that.
It's like a trendy place to go. Like you would think that like people there are going to want to be dressed up a little bit. They're going to want to look good, you know?
So this was opening night of this new restaurant. Mm-hmm. We were able to get reservations for her birthday. So we were walking through, and you had to walk past a bunch of other restaurants that all have patios and stuff. So we're walking in. Veronica's looking like a snack. I'm feeling good, dressed nice, holding hands, just walking. All of a sudden, we hear this guy go, douchebag. Just out of nowhere. And then there was a girl that he was with that just like yelled at him and smacked him. Mm-hmm. And they were all giggling. And then another girl called him over and was like literally scolding him.
Yeah.
But he was probably late 20s, early 30s, maybe.
Yeah, he's probably close to our age.
But, I mean, should I say what I did? I stopped in my tracks.
Tell the full story.
I stopped in my tracks.
Don't be biased.
I stopped in my tracks and just looked at him. And he saw me.
I kept walking.
And he didn't say a word. And I may have said a couple things, like, you know, just basically to entice him to acknowledge what he just did. And he didn't. Which goes to show what we're talking about in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, you were pretty upset.
I had just said in the car on the way there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of the St. Louis idea
really
of
ironic.
Fashion. I want to look good and feel good. I'm going to dress however the crap I want.
Dude, I loved your outfit. It was so good.
I don't give a shit about what anybody else is going to say about it.
Yeah.
And it just so happens, 5 minutes later.
And I'm going to pause you for a second because it's the whole thing of like the influencer, like we're in the influencer era, right? Like being an influencer, well, first off, is like such a trigger word. But that career is like in full force right now. And whatever,
the fact that you can make it a career is in full force.
Whatever that means, whether it's fashion, you know,
fitness.
Thank you. I was like gym stuff. That's not the right word.
Food,
like whatever it is. But more specifically, like I told Alex on the same night, I was like, I want to get an outfit pick before we go in because the lighting's really good right now. But I was like, I'm too scared because we're home. We're in St. Louis. Like, people don't do that here. And I'm like, that is so stupid. Like, that is literally so dumb. And then this happened.
Like, shortly after she said that, too.
And then I was like, oh, I for sure am not taking an outfit photo.
We got you one.
We did at the end of the night, but I was like, F that. I was just like, what in the world? How were we, like, actually validated so ironically in that moment? It was kind of crazy.
I made a post about it even. Like, that got me that fired up.
And I just, like, I felt so heartbroken for you because you were already, like, you told me, you're like, I really like my outfit. And I was like, babe, you look freaking amazing. I super love your outfit. And he was like, but people like don't dress like this here. And I was like, I know, but like who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't matter. And then this happens. And I was like, I was just like so worried that was just going to like knock you back down. And
it didn't knock me back down per se, but it literally just
it crushed you a little bit. It
festered in my head. Like, where have we gotten that? I'll read exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I told the story. He said douchebag. And it's Midwestern men are so allergic to style that when they see another guy that dresses with confidence, they short circuit. They don't know whether to compliment or cry, so they project. And then I said, if putting effort into how you look makes you a douchebag, then I'll rock that title while you keep blending into the beige.
Yeah.
Basically, like, where have we gotten that you as a guy see another guy dressed trendy while you're in your red t-shirt and jean shorts?
Yeah.
And it bothers you so much that you feel inclined to not even call the person a douchebag.
But do a sneeze call?
A cough.
Bro.
Like, jeez.
How old are we?
Like what?
What? Honestly,
I think that had more to do with it than the fact that it happened in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's just that idea that, like, what has happened?
Yeah.
What is actually happening that a person can't dress how the crap they want?
So
without being judged like that.
I mean, here's a couple things that I think it boils down to specifically for the Midwest, and we got some notes on this. So I feel like overall, the Midwest, specifically like St. Louis, has an anti-bougie mentality. Obviously, there are what's the word that I'm thinking of? There are exceptions to this. There are people who don't feel this way, us, and then I could name a few other people who do not feel this way, that share the same values as we do as far as this type of thing goes. But the standard Midwest values are practicality and a blend-in mentality, which is exactly like what you're saying. Like, a lot of people don't want to stick out. They don't want to be, seen, really. They just want to blend in with the crowd. They don't want to make a big hoopla or anything like that. Whereas...
But if you do, you're seen as someone who is just arrogant and full of themselves.
Yeah. Or extra or materialistic.
Like, we freaking are hosting a podcast. We're all over social media. We're trying to promote our business. We have to be in the forefront. Mm-hmm. We have to put ourselves out there. Business owners have to do that in general.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Guess what happens? You blend in and you get forgotten about.
Right.
It's a mindset thing that the vast majority of people just don't understand.
Yeah. And because we both looked good, more specifically like you, because this happened to you.
You look good too, though. You looked great.
Well, thank you.
But I think it's more forgiving.
Like he called you a douchebag because your outward appearance looks like you give a shit, so you're materialistic and you're arrogant and you're, whatever. But like, that's not the case.
Not even a little bit. I am confident sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you should be. Who doesn't want to be confident?
So far from arrogant.
Like, it's wild how the mentality here, and if you frequent other cities, then you probably know like what we're talking about. And this issue, by the way, is not just like something that lives within the fashion realm of this. It also seeps into the wedding industry and trends and things like that, because trends from like the East Coast and the West Coast on weddings are happening, and people in the Midwest see it. And by the time that they can figure out how to get it here, the trend has come and gone.
Yeah.
And so it's just that blend-in mentality is what holds creatives back and entrepreneurship and things like that back on being able to start trends here or do them at the same time, or just do them and not get looked twice at.
Why do you think the hubs for creatives are New York, LA, Atlanta, Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville technically is a Midwest city, but I feel like of all the Midwest, Nashville is the one that is probably more...
They're an exception.
They're the exception because
it's the music industry.
Because it's where the hub of the music creatives are, and it's just a branch of LA and New York and Atlanta.
Yeah, there's so many people who are in Nashville that aren't from Nashville. That
it is easy to bring.
It's like...
Bring the trends in.
It's just different.
Yeah. I knew where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that mentality. The blend-in mentality.
Yeah.
And the creatives. So, yeah, the creatives go to those cities. Like, that's where the creative hubs are.
Yeah.
Are those cities. So it makes sense that that's why they go there, and that's why it's become that.
Yeah.
And why it is the epicenter for these new trends.
Yeah. You know, at the same time, though, when you choose to be different and you choose to step out and you choose to go against the grain, you're going to get noticed. But if you're going to choose that, you have to be okay with getting noticed. And most of the time, you're going to be noticed for the good part of it. You know, we obviously care about the way that we look and the way that we present ourselves just out in daily life, but also with our clients and for wedding days. I mean, you get complimented on your shoes literally every single wedding, every single one.
True. And now it's kind of a game.
And now because of things like that, I mean, I really am not trying to be like big-headed about this, but it's just a fact. We have been told on multiple occasions, you know, comments made to us that like we're always like so well dressed, and
that people, like, if there's an industry event, people look forward to what we're going to be wearing.
Yeah, and like I think
who are you wearing?
Yeah, I think that I can't remember exactly what it was, but
was it the Bourbon Ballroom?
I don't know what it was, but Caitlin was like, Alex is literally the best dressed vendor that I work with.
We had the meeting with the timeline meeting thing.
Yeah.
We had a dinner with them.
Yeah.
And they were talking about what the groomsmen are wearing and what the groom's suit looks like. And
we're talking about bow ties.
Oh, yeah. And I said, I know how to tie a bow tie.
Yeah, Alex was like, I know how to tie a bow tie. And Caitlin was like, of course you do. You're like the best dressed
wedding vendor
that I like work with. And I mean, that's like a huge compliment. Mm-hmm. But we put a lot of effort into it. One, because we enjoy it. And when you show up a certain way, you're taken seriously. And I think the thing is with this, like when you take it outside of just the professional aspect of it and you blend that into like everyday life, and it's just something that we enjoy, for whatever reason, it's viewed differently. And obviously,
in St. Louis, people's brains short circuit.
Yeah, they don't know how to handle it. So the idea that just like fashion here, and really it's just like a mindset thing, is so behind, and it's just like, it sucks. And
it sucks because of the mindset, there aren't stores bringing in good options, especially for men. Like there was some time we had an event that had a specific attire. It was simple. It just had to be red or pink. So I just needed something with red in it that was nice because I don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
So we went to the mall. We actually went to 2 malls. Didn't we? And we walked around and went into all these stores and literally nothing.
Yeah, there was like nothing.
I barely found a shirt that was maybe okay.
Yeah.
And that's when this conversation actually started, was like, this is ridiculous, because we had just gotten back from Florida and we went to the mall there that we like, and some of the same stores that are in St. Louis that are also in that mall, the stores in that mall in Florida carry far more trendy options than they do in St. Louis.
Yeah. And, you know, even like, there's not a ton of like, quote unquote, like fashion influencers in St. Louis. There are a few that I can think of that I know who are fantastic. But even some, and I'm not going to say all, but even some, and I would venture to say the majority, that might be a hot take, of the fashion influencers in Missouri specifically, they don't even push the trends. Like, they are also dressing in a Midwestern comfortability, somewhat, in my opinion, blend in mindset. They're just showing it more. They're okay with taking their outfit photos. They're okay with doing the get ready with me, help me pick out an outfit, whatever. And that's fine. But like, their items and the way that they put their outfits together, it's not that out there or not that like trendy as what you would see in LA or the East Coast. So yeah, it's just like, it's just interesting to me because if you look at influencers in New York or whatever, they're doing way different things. And even the people who have the same profession in St. Louis are still not pushing the envelope. And it's like, why is that? Why is that?
Maybe if I'm going to have people call me a douchebag for what I wear in St. Louis, maybe I should just start posting my outfits on TikTok or something.
You should.
So that if they're going to call me a douchebag, at least they can call me a douchebag in the comments and then I'll get more engagement. And then at least it's serving a good purpose.
You should, honestly. I mean, that whole like, that idea and that mindset, it hinders creativity, self-expression. That whole thing is the reason why we don't have designers and things like this creating trends in St. Louis. Like, that needs to change, like, for real.
Yeah.
And there are people who are doing that, not necessarily that. I'm sure that there are people who are doing it in the fashion industry that I'm just not super aware of.
Logan was trying. He launched Logan launched his Evoke Amore brand.
That one's dope.
It's minimal. Like, there's only a handful of things that he sells if he's still doing it. But they're good and they're stylish.
Yeah.
But he also was doing the fashion thing for a while. But he also spent a career for 5+ years traveling the world.
Yeah.
So that tracks.
It helps, yeah. Speaking a little bit outside of like the fashion industry, as far as the wedding industry goes, I do want to give a shout out to Landmark Luxury. The name in and of itself, I feel like coincides with this topic, and their whole goal, I think part of what they do is they want to bring all the trends that are outside of the Midwest into the Midwest and make it more of a destination spot. Make it more of something that people look forward to, and it's a go-to place for people to look at for trends.
That's why it's called the flyover states, is because literally you fly over them and don't think twice.
Yeah.
And that's what the Landmark Luxury for the wedding industry specifically is trying to do, is trying to make it so that it's not just a flyover state. It's another
destination
spot that I can have a nice, high-end, trendy wedding.
Yeah. Because most of the time it's like, do you see what they're doing in New York weddings now or LA weddings? And you want it to be like, okay, well, did you see what they've done in St. Louis?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do. And I super appreciate that.
And I think because the way the industry has worked, it's kind of handcuffed a lot of us Midwest vendors, because when you're first starting out, you're not getting these high-end coastal weddings.
Yeah.
So you're working with what you are able to get in the Midwest, which is a wedding with trends that are a year and a half old.
But yeah, I think this is just something that is, I think, a good discussion and kind of like a hot take. It is a hot take.
It is a hot take. Hot takes can be true.
Yeah.
It also has been kind of eating at us for the last several years, actually.
Especially because we travel so much, and so we get to see and experience different cities and their cultures, and that is not lost on us. I know that we're very privileged to be able to do that, but when we come back home, it makes me sad that I'm like, I just want to dress cute and like feel good in an outfit, but I don't want to be judged because I'm just a Midwestern girl living in St. Louis, like going and getting dinner. Like, why am I trying so hard? But also, like, why do I care what other people think?
I mean, I do appreciate the fact that I feel more comfortable here if I want to go out in a pair of sweats or jeans and a t-shirt and tennis shoes.
I will say, yeah.
Even to Prosino, for all places. Like, we'll do that.
Yeah.
And we know we won't be judged at all. But I feel like we wouldn't be judged out anywhere else either.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
They would just be like, oh, they must be from the Midwest.
No. But yeah, it's just like a really interesting thing. And if you have like traveled to like cities that are kind of like fashion capitals, then maybe you know and kind of feel like what we're feeling. But we just thought that this was like an interesting topic, and then that thing happened on my birthday, and Alex was like, we need to talk about this on the podcast. And I was like, actually, it's like a really good discussion because it's a very real thing. And it is a very real thing because we're not the only ones who recognize it, especially in the wedding industry.
I actually wrote this topic down in my notes after that incident in February at the mall.
Oh, yeah.
It popped up. I'm like, we have to talk about it because it just happened. It's on my notes. We're planning the podcast. It's time.
Yeah. I mean, when we go to like vacation and we go to a mall in a different city, it feels weird because we're like, we did not come all this way to go to a mall, but the clothes are different.
It's way different.
So we have to.
Well, and this one in Florida, it's called the Mall of Millennia, the Mall at Millennial, the Mall at Millennia.
Yeah.
In Orlando.
Yeah.
Is probably one of our favorite malls that we've been to. And it's not just because they have trendy options and their stores are all great and they have all the designer stores we like and several we could never afford, like, you know, Rolex.
Yeah.
It's not just about that, but also we talked about this when we were there last in February, that it feels like what malls were like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Like, maybe more than that.
Well, we didn't even talk about that. Like,
like
how like all of our malls in St. Louis are like dead.
Like nobody goes. Like,
how many have been closed down?
At least 2, but all but 1 are actively dying.
Yeah. So like the one by Stony, what was that one?
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield.
They already tore that down.
They're like
Crestwood, they tore that down. Jamestown Mall, they tore that burned down.
The only ones that I am aware of, which I have some of my eye guys, I'm so sorry.
Mid-Rivers is dying.
Oh, I forgot about that.
South County Mall is dying.
I forgot about those two.
West County is the only one
I was going to say West County and the Galleria.
Galleria is dying.
The Galleria is dying.
West County is the only one that's actually got lives left.
But I feel like that
Barely.
one also is like, there's so many like empty spots.
Yeah.
We were just there looking for that shirt, and that was like, there's so many like empty store spots. Like, but when we go to like the Mall of Millennia in Florida, it is popping. Like, you go, so many people there.
It brings back the days of going to the mall just to hang out. Mm-hmm. Because there's lots of places to sit. There's lots of places there's the food court's huge. There's so many stores.
Yeah.
You literally can just hang out and spend a day there.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like,
which is why we do that. It brings back kind of nostalgia, while you can also get stuff that you can't get here.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say there are some like boutique things in St. Louis that are really cool, but like every city has that. And I do think that is something special that I want to note. Like, there are boutique stores here that are really great, but they're very few and far in between.
You have to go out of your way
and you have to go out of your way to find them. And like, it's just lack thereof here in the Lou, you know? I would just love for there to be also just like a mentality shift behind the culture and like dressing and things like that. And I think that it is slowly getting that way, but it's very slowly getting that way now because it's already been that way everywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
And I think social media is helping the push, but it's just so slow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's just interesting to like sit and watch and then try to be a part of. And, you know, as we don't have like this crazy huge following where we feel like we can make like, we believe that we make some of a difference. We hope that we make some of a difference. But we don't make that big of a difference where it's like, oh, the youngs are going to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's not what I'm saying. But we are happy to be some of those people who do kind of step out of the box.
If you need our permission to dress nice, you have our permission.
Yeah. Like, I just think that, I mean, I'm happy that we do that and I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And I encourage everybody else to do it. Like, dress how you want to dress. Wear what you want to wear. Do whatever you want to do. Like, that. If it makes you feel good, do it. And that's basically all I have to say about that.
It just reminded me, like, just do it. Like, I was wearing Italian boots probably 2007, 2008.
You also wore a scarf.
That was trendy at the time on the coast.
Okay, that's true. That's true. It's true. I always give you trouble for that.
I know.
That's
but
true.
Like,
it was very like very like John Mayer era.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
I was like trying to do those things, but like that kind of comment happened more often than not.
You kind of like have always been into like fashion and stuff like that, but then when you married me, like it kind of got.
I had direction.
Yeah. So it doesn't help that like we're both kind of like interested in a little bit passionate about fashion and stuff like that. But
Anywho.
Yeah. I would love to know like what you guys think and if you guys have like experienced anything like this. If you live in the Midwest, like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, I would love to know if you don't agree with what we're saying.
Do you think I'm a douchebag because I dress nice? Not today. I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, literally. Me and my long sleeve t-shirt, leggings, and fuzzy socks is giving Midwest for sure. So there's that. But the irony.
That's funny.
Anyway, we thought that this was like a fun topic and kind of lighthearted, but also very interesting. So that's pretty much all that we have for today's pod. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.